This college football picks conference championship edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rebet, a new sportsbook available in 45 states. Download Rebet in your app store and use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, it's Scooby right here, aka Shark Dog, listening to SGP and let it ride.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Oh, we have so much to talk to Colby about. So much to cut.
Before we do that, we got to talk Monday Night Football, Kramer. That was. I mean, it's a
Sean,
gambling moment I'll remember for a long time.
We made a big mistake. How do we? Oops, my bad. How do we make that mistake? How do we miss on a Jameis 2-pick, 2 defensive Denver defense double touchdown,
2 defensive
same game parlay,
497 passing yards. So obviously I was way off on the under there.
went
my
full
bad.
Jameis.
And
Did he go 2x? He went 2x.
what do you mean?
It was what was it? 247.5 or something.
Oh yeah, he doubled it. Yeah, he doubled his
One of the worst bets you've ever made, perhaps.
But I went big on the and added a little late on the Broncos, laying the 5.5. And man, that was a wild ride.
Sean,
I was completely off game script. Like I thought it was going to be Broncos running the ball more, some play action stuff. I was surprised at what I saw of the Browns, like how well they played, the level of fight they had. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because that was classic Jameis. He is the most entertaining quarterback I've ever watched in professional football. And they're gambling on or against him, it's just for the most part, or at least he has these games that are just insanely entertaining. I even great when the Broncos kicked that field goal, and I wanted them to go for it to cover the number, and I was calling them pussies, and then they kicked the field goal. I'm like, all right, this is over. I graded the sheet to be like, all right, yep, this is over, completely done. No way they win this. Then the guy jumps up, gets the interception, doesn't get touched, returns over the pick six. I'm going nuts. And then slowly I'm realizing, oh my God, they have a ton of timeouts. When the Broncos went to kick that extra point, I go miss it because I wanted them to be up by 8, but by being up by 9, the back door, like Jameis almost backdoored the back door he created. It was a masterpiece in football and gambling. My blood pressure is through the roof. I tweeted out, I fucking love gambling. It was awesome. It was a great night.
That might be a good list for us to put out, Sean. Top 5, top 10 quarterback all-time gambling athletes.
Yes, just most entertaining athletes to gamble on.
And I guess the interesting thing about Jameis is I think part of what makes it great is it's not all the time.
Yeah,
you don't get it all the time.
No, it's like the supermoon. Yeah, every once in a while you get the Jameis Winston supermoon coming on. The planets align. Ryan, I said to you, Jameis Winston just throws an incredibly catchable ball. Now it works for him and against him because then they drive down. He gets out to the 2-yard line. They call this bullshit pass interference, and I'm thinking, all right, God, they broke my heart thinking I was going to cover with the pick six, and then he throws another interception. The guy almost takes to the house again. He caught the interception, or he intercepted 3 yards in the end zone, and there was no thought of ever sliding or kneeling. He tried to take it to the house. It was great. It was awesome.
I mean, the funniest thing to me when I watch Jameis and how frantic he is there in the pocket is I just think about him doing that drill with the dummies in his front yard. And it's just like, yeah, it's just Jameis. He trained for this moment.
The two two of the most entertaining games so far in prime time was this game we just watched, and then the Thursday night game before it, the snow game, this epic classic of Jameis Winston flying through the air, NFL Films narrating it. It's just a true piece of football cinema that you're going to be thinking about and talking about for years to come. So beautiful game, beautiful cover. God bless Jameis Winston.
What team will Jameis be playing for next year?
That's a great question. I mean, if we do odds on that, someone's going to pay him, right? And why not the Browns?
I think I'm just going to have a custom Giants jersey made with Winston on the back. So send him some pictures, start recruiting him.
Oh no, come on. Jameis needs to go somewhere where he can succeed, Ryan.
Belichick will be the coach.
Oh, for the Giants?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Haven't you read the news? we can get into this later.
I don't see him and Joe Shane getting along.
Oh, Joe Shane. Who's Joe Shane?
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. We're in that stage of the Giants. All right. We're here to talk college football.
Burn it all down.
Joining us on the line from the College Football Experience, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
Colby is for. Oh no, here he is.
Colby, what's happening?
It sounds like you're having a great night. Shout out
awesome
to Jaquan McMillan, and you're welcome. I'm sorry, but you're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for bringing the ECU Pirates. I mean, I don't know what happened to the Broncos defense. The Broncos defense was good. Jameis just carved him up. Judy with the revenge. I mean, I totally whiffed on the props.
Imagine being a Browns fan.
for the Sunday night episode. Although we almost hit first touchdown again with Vele getting down at the 1 yard line.
Imagine being a Browns fan.
It's just
imagine if you weren't wasting $40 million on a quarterback a year.
Crazy.
Unreal.
Colby, what's happening, man? College football conference championship coming off a nice run for the show. I was telling Kramer, I went 11-3, my best week. And somehow I went 0-2 on my locks. That's do you know how hard that is to go 11-3 and not accidentally get one of my locks right? But what balanced it out, of course, was the Syracuse Orange getting the money line play there at plus 300. All three of us somehow hit our T's. I don't know how that happened. Colby.
I'm practicing these for many years.
Colby hit both his locks. Well, Colby is the other end of the spectrum. Overall, not great ATS, but did come through with both of his locks when it mattered most. Discord with a 3-5 record, continuing their sub 500 run. Kramer with the nice 9-5, hitting a lock and a tease. I mean, obviously we got to start with Michigan upsetting Ohio State. I didn't see that coming. Like I thought, okay, this is going to be a game, but the outright win and the way like they won it in such an ugly way. What was your takeaway, Colby?
I think it was this show that I talked about taking the points because Ohio State has an identity crisis. And I think that actually played out even more than I thought. I mean, I didn't have Ohio State winning it, but I did think, like the game, Ohio State's been weird all year. I didn't understand the Will Howard get. It didn't make sense to me. They passed on Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel, which I think are much better for their system with their receivers and the talent they have on the outside, as well as both their running backs. And I think you can get really creative with how to use them, which I don't feel like they get super creative with how they use them, because they're in, like Jim Harbaugh is in the head of Ryan Day, even when he's not there, because
that's next level,
dude. It was like he was adamant that we had to play bully ball, and Ohio State's offensive line is dinged up. They haven't been that good this year, and
it was the kind of game Michigan wanted to play.
Yeah, it was mind numbing to me because you have you're playing into the strength of Michigan, and then like you have all this elite talent on the outside, and you don't trust Will Howard to throw the ball, especially after he got dinged up a little bit. But even coming into the season, Will Howard is not known to be a passing quarterback. Like he puts up good stats at Ohio State because any quarterback can. And I can't help but think, watching Honda McCourt though for like 400 again or 380, whatever it was.
Beat Miami.
Yeah, if they had him, I kind of think they would have won this game because I shouldn't say that because I think it's such a battle in Ryan Day's head. Like they should have been throwing the ball to their skill position players. Will Johnson didn't play.
Yeah, exploit the talent gap on the outside. You're exactly right. And then my Syracuse, we were all in Syracuse there, but my take was that Mario Cristobal had yet to have a game where he completely screwed the pooch.
They also won a tremendous amount of insane games that they, probably
they were due for some crazy regression, but when they were down 7 or I forget what it was late and then kicking that field goal, like in what kind of world or game are you kicking a field goal in the Carrier Dome where it's just, I mean, it was 21. They were down. Syracuse was down 21-0 and they were just throwing all over the place. Like take your head out of your ass. Realize the game flow.
Classic Cristobal at the 10-yard line. I think there was 3:09 left if memory serves me correct. I could be wrong. I
kicked the field goal.
It's like, what? Like you haven't stopped Syracuse offense all day, like ever since the first quarter. Yeah. And you're just going to take the 3 and hope to get I mean, I don't know about that, man. Classic Cristobal. And I was the same way. I had Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago, took Syracuse again, just because Miami was frauds all year. They were like, Patty C actually kind of hit the nail on the head. Like they're a worse version of Colorado. Like Colorado actually is a little bit better on the D line, I think, than Miami. And in the secondary for sure. And
they're just
Colorado
not a well-coached team.
Yeah.
It's insanely clear that they're just, I think what we're going to see more than ever now with the NIL and all this like open, it's about recruiting is you're going to see programs that just bring in the salesman and you're going to see like that shit isn't going to fly in football. You can't churn and burn. This isn't basketball. You can't be Calipari. You got to develop, and you're gonna see these teams with all this fucking talent that just can't play fucking football. That's what Miami's kind of always been that since the heyday, but man, it couldn't have been more evident in this fucking game. Well, because you if you're a Syracuse fan, you feel fucking good about the future.
They were up 21-0.
Building, yeah. I mean, but just the culture, right?
Yeah, like Fran Brown has an identity.
Cuse. In most of their games this year, and it's the first year of a program, but you can tell they have a plan. They practice their plan. Miami, who knows what they're doing?
And we weren't that far off, when we were talking about, going back to our preview episodes with conference preview.
I'm waiting when the college football playoff gets announced. We're going to do a little review of our playoff versus the actual playoff.
Well, there could be there's going to be some whips in there.
Let's not do any sort of victory lapping on preseason stuff.
But Syracuse to win the ACC. Damn, if they don't blow a couple of those games, they really had a shot. I mean,
it's college football.
Yeah, but they were 9-3 and they beat Miami. Yeah. Like that was part of the handicap, and I feel like we weren't that far off from that. What was it, like 50-1?
Dude, if they win that Stanford game, they're playing for the ACC championship right now.
It's so annoying.
And if you are listening to this in podcast format, and you want to stay in sync with Japan, it is time for a dab. I just
so in the YouTube chat.
Just quick update. I want to try and bring the communities together. So,
well, you said time. I thought you were actually like the country of Japan. No, it's the guy in the chat named Japan.
Well, yeah,
or goes by Japan.
Of course, everyone knows.
Colby, your Colorado Buffalo. Well, maybe it's my Colorado Buffalo because I've been riding them every week. ATS machine. Although looking back, I think you gave it out. I think I may have already had a small play on Travis Hunter Heisman. Lock that thing up. Put Oklahoma State in a body bag. I mean, Gundy getting shut out was pretty beautiful.
$100 grand to get strapped. Colby, $100 grand to get strapped to the back of a bison.
What's that based off of?
Well, you're saying you're riding the buffalo, so I'm asking how much it's going to cost to get strapped to the back of a bison.
I will say like the Gundy. Something just didn't like that was they quit on him. That was a crazy scenario.
We've never seen that. I've never, I can't, I was trying to think about this, but Gundy's been in our life for a long time. It's crazy to think how long ago that I'm a Man clip is from, but I can't think of too many years where Gundy's team quits on him. If anything, they're the team that was, around 500 and has a crazy upset at the end of the season in kind of a situation they should have had no business competing. And so, I don't know. Does this sound like the end of him at Oklahoma State? Is that like a real thing?
I think so, but he said he's going to come back next year, but I still want it gives me like the Tony Bennett vibes of like, He waited a while into the offseason, and Gundy would do that in my opinion. So you keep the players in the port, on your roster. But I don't know, man. I mean, he seems, you saw Mac Brown's press conference the other day, which cracked me up. As he's leaving, he said, "This isn't the game that I signed on for as a coach." And I'm like, wait a second here. You were at fucking Texas. You're telling me that Ricky Williams just, he didn't want to go to USC. Just Texas sold him. There was no bag of cash. You're telling me that he was, and guess where he was prior to that? He was at Florida State.
Yeah. The most telling is the teams these guys turned down. It's like, oh wait, you said no to USC, the team that got busted for paying all these guys to go to Texas, who hasn't had some crazy, who I'm sure obviously was probably. You do some research.
It's just the whole history of Texas football. I mean, like I said, there's a book where Bear Bryant's at Bear Bryant's at Texas A&M, and they have these bidding wars over players, and this is like in the 1950s. This is in the 1950s. So to get on your high horse, this isn't the game that I signed up for. Shut the fuck up, man. So I mean, but these egomaniacs, maybe Gundy's in the same vein. I don't know.
I do think there's just a crop of coaches where the game's going to pass them by. Because I mean, who knows? It's a new game. I could see Gundy being stubborn. This is my way. I mean, it's a little bit of, to me, he's like extremely redneck Dabo Sweeney, where like he has a way. At some point, it's just going to stop working completely. Dabo also seems to be holding on. But yeah. Is there actual word of him? Like, does Oklahoma State want him gone?
No, I'm not sure. Like I said, I think he said that he plans to be back from. I mean, I didn't see a clip of him, but I saw a caption of that on Twitter. So who the hell really knows?
He needs to be in the sport. Although him joining joining the media, no one would. He seems like he could be a clever analyst on the television.
Sure. Donovan in the chat though has got a good point where he says he was talking to his pops. He said a lot of coaches salty about NIL, which I just find so hilarious because the power is getting stripped a little bit away. I honestly believe that's why Saban retired. I think like I thought
the people that don't like it are the people that had the unfair edge and were taking advantage of it. It's the same thing like salary cap in the NFL. Like the teams that didn't want. Look at Major League Baseball. Why does Major League Baseball suck? Because some teams can pay way more than other teams. I do think at some point they need some sort of like system, some sort of maybe salary cap. I don't know what the actual mechanism is where, hey, if you promise this kid X amount, he actually gets it. It's some
they're
sort
gonna
of
figure
system.
it out.
Yeah.
It will get like through like lawsuits. It will turn into an employment situation. I think if anything, the coaches also see their crazy buyouts going away.
Well, hold on. To bring that home though, like Mac Brown wanted to come back next year, and then on his press conference, so like as of a week ago, he was saying, "Look, bring me back one more year. I can turn this thing around." Right. And then it's like, now you're this isn't the game I signed up for. Isn't the game? It's like, what are you talking about? Then why'd you want to come back next year the whole time? All right. Like it's just a maniac to me.
It is
classic college football coach. We do have to, one whiff by us, and I locked them up. Arizona plus 9.5. I thought, I was buying into the narrative that like, all right, Arizona State, this would be a little speed bump for them. I did think they were going to win, but man, they just destroyed Arizona 49-7. That was crazy. So I love this Arizona State team. Can't wait to talk about them in the conference championship. And, I did not see them destroying Arizona like that. And I was listening to the game on the radio, and they call the Wildcat, where it's Scattaboo back there, they call it the Wild Scat, which immediately is an awesome nickname for a formation. Also kind of sounds
animal shit.
Kind of, yeah. Also sounds like it's like a rabbit having diarrhea. Oh, he wild scatted all over the couch. It sounds like something like that. It's very fecal naming, but shout out to Scattaboo and Dillingham. Like the Arizona State, just awesome team right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I thought Arizona would cover that too, or at least give them a game. If we're looking back on their picks, I wish there's no way I would have took Washington had I known they were going to start their freshman quarterback. I thought Will Rogers was going to play. That's the flaw of going Monday night is Once that information came out, once that information came out, you're like, dude, his first ever start on the road at Autzen. No way you're gonna get blown away.
Is he self-reporting right now?
It's like the NCAA. He's trying to get ahead of.
All right, I'm going to take a 2-game suspension against.
Can I buy you guys some cheeseburgers?
We got to submit. We got to sort through your lean reports, your Benedict reports. There's a lot to go through.
Come on. Can I buy you guys some cheeseburgers? Cash only, but can I tip on card?
Yeah, that's fine.
Don't. I mean, come on. Speaking of which, I did bringing it all the way back to the Ohio State Michigan game. I did enjoy how Ryan Day losing again. One got people posting the clip of Harbaugh saying some people who are standing on third base thought they hit a triple, but they didn't. So watching that on a loop has been enjoyable. And then 2, going on a little bit of an internet deep dive on the hilarious threads that exist on message boards about Ryan Day's beard color and why he dyes it so very jet black. There are a lot of people with a lot of theories about Ryan Day.
I mean, as a guy who's got some grays in my beard,
it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I could. Did I ever think of dyeing it? I guess, but then you look at guys who have dyed beards and you go, "Oh my god, you look like a fucking idiot."
I used to work with a guy.
It looks so bad.
I used to work for a guy, old Russian dude, had basically white and gray hair. And one day he walks into the office and it's jet fucking black.
Well, it's like,
and you have holy shit! Like, what am I supposed to say to that? Obviously, you look ridiculous. Second, no one has hair that black. Like, we got to dial it down a little bit.
The king of this is Carlos Boozer.
Oh yeah,
if you could pull up that photo when Carlos Boozer did his beard and his head at the same time, it was like. It was like Bobby Valentine on fucking, on steroids. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
This almost looks like out of a video game.
Dude, we were all watching that and saying like, what I can't believe he did this. I can't believe he's actually trying to pass this over on us.
Is the Carlos Boozer thing more ridiculous than like Sammy Sosa's skin color?
It's up there.
It's up there. Yeah.
Yeah, look at. All right, I'm pulling it up now. YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. But look at this. Look at that. It looks like he's wearing a helmet. What the hell is going on?
He did his whole head like that.
Why?
Looks like he's in The Sims or something. What's going on there?
Absolutely hilarious.
Like, who told him yes? Who said this is?
Well, LeBron had a really bad hair thing going for a while.
Just go bald. I mean, be a fucking man about it. My God.
Especially as a dude in the NBA, just shave your head. No, Jordan made that look super cool. You're fine.
And he's a millionaire.
Everyone makes it look cool. Who doesn't make having a shaved head look cool?
Yeah.
That's the craziest part about
shaving your head's the coolest.
Carlos Boozer made a lot of interesting decisions in his life. All right.
Before we get to the picks, of course, shout out to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Back, baby. I was just checking the MyBookie account. Nice and flush. Thanks to the Denver Broncos. Would have been a little more flush if Vele would have got that first touchdown, and you can get down on the first touchdown bets. Over under on just so many props. Extensive menu. You feel you're in a Jersey diner with the number of options they have: betting, live betting, in-game, early cash out if you're soft. And easy deposit with cryptocurrency, and even easier payout. Again, 100% match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions do apply. So if you take the bonus, read the rollover requirements. But mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet, brand new to the sportsbook game. It's a kind of a new approach to the sportsbook experience, available in 45 states. That's right. 90% chance if you're listening to this in America, you have access to Rebet. Open up your app store, type in Rebet, REBET. Very easy to spell out. Download it, try it out. 100% match up to $100 when you use the promo code SGPN. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN.
All right. Well done, everyone. There was one more bit of business to get to as we discuss these games. There were a number of additional games put on the sheet without permission by Colby.
Oh wow.
They have, fortunately, we did get them removed, so we won't have any sort of issues on the program. But it turns out, Sean, the FCS is playing a playoff right now, which we get it. The FBS already figured this out, guys. Way to go! You guys also got a playoff down there, you little baby football.
How'd they figure it out?
Well, they copied the FBS, obviously. Great idea. What are they doing? 12 teams too, Colby?
No, 24.
Oh wow.
What?
Oh man.
Oh, wait till.
Wait, is the FCS playoff better than the FBS playoff?
100%.
Whoa.
Now they'll never do 24 teams because getting 24 teams would eliminate the arguments. And that's what college sports thrives on. You have to have talking heads and social media yelling about this team getting disrespected. I honestly, and I'm the idiot for believing that there would be less argument about the committee putting in this team or that
more
team.
argument.
No, I know. I totally misread the situation. I'm like, oh, it's a 12-team playoff. If you don't get in, you got no excuses. Oh, there are excuses. Especially with these big money schools.
The further you get away from two, the more distribution there is of teams who think they should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, come on. There's 12 teams. You can't put Colby. Who do you think?
Well, I listened to it. I was watching Follow the Money today, and they had a whole discussion about, hey, if Boise State's one of the top 10 teams in the rankings and they lose their conference championship game, that shouldn't be held against them. So are they
it might.
But would they be an at large potentially? And then there's another team from the Mountain West taking that auto bid? No, but certainly interesting to talk about. And so 24 teams would only make this conversation.
Colby, do you think
like 40 teams would think they should be in the playoffs?
Colby, do you think Miami gets in there?
Yes.
Actually, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think their odds to get in are pretty juicy to get into the college football playoff because you can take them like 300-1 to win it all. Maybe we'll pull up some.
They
of
do
those
have Cam Ward.
The reason why I do is will be explained later in the show, or the reason why I do not have them will be explained later in the show.
The odds would suggest it. Miami to make the college football playoff, yes, is 6-1. No is minus 1100. So do you like it as a bet at 6-1, Colby, or no?
Well, that's not bad because I think you need another outcome to happen with the game, for them to get in. Yeah, a
little bit of a parlay.
All right, I'm grabbing my phone. Hold on.
Oh wow, Sean's getting spicy. I wish you could have been here, Colby, to see Sean celebrate the pick six to have the Broncos cover the spread. Yeah, pillow in his hand. He was doing like twinkle toes. It was pretty funny. It was an exciting gambling moment. I agree. Anyway, let's get to the games, Colby. And Sean's going to join us here in a second. Heading to Jacksonville.
So you're going to make fun of me for liking gambling? What are you, Colby over there?
No. I was making fun of the physical celebration.
Gambling's ruined the game, Colby.
It was such an emotional moment. You let yourself go. Jacksonville, Alabama, where Jacksonville State and Western Kentucky face off. This is on Friday.
It is on Friday.
All right.
And this is
a
4 really
p.m. Jacksonville State -4, -185 on the money line. Western Kentucky +155, 57.5 is the total. Go ahead, Colby.
Now this is an interesting one because there's a lot of distractions at the helm. First, they just played this past Saturday. Western Kentucky needed to win to get in, and they made, I think it was like a 54-yard field goal, barely. I mean, just barely to get in. And they got them to win to play Jacksonville State yet again. Now the drama on the other side is, I believe, Pat McAfee played for Rich Rodriguez at West Virginia. He also donated a shit ton of money to West Virginia this past year. And there's strong talks that Rich Rodriguez is going to be the next coach of West Virginia. So
he's coming back.
It's not official. No, there's nothing official yet, but he's been rumored to be the next guy. I mean, I think they're interviewing a couple guys, but he's the one that, with those ties with McAfee and him donating so much money to the school, you would think you might be able to call your own shot there. But But having said that, I Jacksonville State in Jacksonville, Alabama, I still think that's the play. You just went up against them a week ago. And I believe
it's a weird game. They won, Western Kentucky won 19-17, but like Jacksonville State, they were like not trying to show anything, but they almost messed around and still won the game. Right. Like, what do we think about, what's your take? Quarterback Tyler Huff, got knocked out, due to an ankle injury. Rich Rod being quiet about it. Are you worried about Tyler Huff not playing?
Potentially, he was a baller, and he was the starting quarterback of Furman in the FCS playoffs a year ago, and had a great couple games there. He can ball, so if he's not able to go, I do think that's a tricky thing. But I think he'll go. This is a chance to win a championship, and Rich Rod probably, I can't guarantee this, probably wouldn't accept the job until Saturday or Friday night, I think. But I don't know, because it's weird. The portal opens Friday, so you want to get your coaches right away. It's just utter chaos.
How can they also not figure out this timing thing?
They gotta fix
Open the portal after the season's done. You fucking idiots! Let them finish the season.
What's hilarious is they have had legislation to get rid of it.
Legislation.
In the summer window, the spring summer window. And it's like, wait, that's when you should do it, because no one's playing games. You're doing it now in November or in December 7th or whatever the fuck it is.
Collegiate athletics they just continue to be retarded at every turn.
It is pretty funny.
I mean, think about it. When the games are being played, you can't transfer. When games aren't being played, you can transfer. Woo.
Seems like an easy formula.
Look at that.
But to be honest,
have a blackout period in the summer. Cool, you're done.
To be honest, though, what all that is so unorthodox. That's actually what saves it at the same time.
Yeah, but to your point, he would. You think he's going to finish the season with the team, right? This is like, let's finish the game and then I'll take the job and we'll.
I think so. I mean, he's like in his, what is he, 62 years old or something? I feel like, but who knows? A shit ton of money can change anybody's mind.
Yeah, but you can't wait till Friday night.
Yeah, you can announce after the game.
That's the thing. You should negotiate. Some of these coaches are scumbags. You should negotiate that in your contract. But like Scott Frost did that when he took the Nebraska job. He said, "No, I want to ride this out with UCF." Brian Kelly was undefeated at Cincinnati, and Notre Dame came, and he was like, "Peace, I'm out." He did that multiple times, I think. Yeah.
No, he doesn't give a fuck about the players.
Family.
You saw what he said to that
I'm with
quarterback.
Colby. Jacksonville State is the play.
Yeah.
A little worried about the quarterback, the line moving from 2 to 4, but I'm still on it.
Historically as well, when you have these back-to-back games, when the team that needed it wins the first one, they generally lose the second one. So Discord
on Western Kentucky
with the toppers. Let's 5 p.m. on Friday. We're heading to West Point, where Tulane takes on Army. Army catching 4.5 here, plus 170 on the money line. Tulane minus 200. 47.5 is the total. I believe Tulane has had some success against the triple option in the past, but man, great season for Army. Exceptionally good season for Army. Makes me feel like they're going to lose this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Tulane, they were 14.5 point favorites against Memphis, lost outright. Crazy for them. And Tulane, you can make a case for Tulane because they've played a noticeably stronger schedule than Army. Army played Notre Dame, got destroyed there. Army really hasn't played. Obviously hasn't played Tulane, Navy, Memphis, some of the top teams in conference. But was that a dream crusher game for Tulane? They thought, hey, maybe we got a chance in the playoffs. Then they lose to Memphis as a big favorite. Now these New Orleans boys got to go up north for a pretty cold game.
Take on the Union Army.
Cold physical game. I don't know. Like if this wasn't at West Point, if this was on a neutral, I'd be all over Tulane. But the fact that you got some weather, I imagine it's going to be cold as shit here. Army maybe can ugly this up, but there's a pretty decent talent gap. I don't know where you're at with Tulane's head here, Colby. Do you think they bounce back after the Memphis loss?
No, I'm on Army. Army's still somewhat mathematically alive to make this playoff. You know, hypothetically, if UNLV is to beat Boise and Army just blows out Tulane, I think it'd be a good debate because UNLV would have a couple different losses there, and Army would be 12-1. And another thing is, I know Summerall could be interviewing for other gigs. There's rumors, for him to UCF and stuff, but they and I read that same stat, Kramer. He's been great against the triple option. That it's a little deceiving though, because Horvath didn't play for Navy after the first drive. He got injured that game. They're starting quarterback, and then they haven't played. So they took on Army last year, right, in Troy, Alabama. It's in 30 degrees with a chance of snow.
Yeah.
So
this is, I mean, the weather to me is like the deciding factor. You got to take Army in the points there as a dog.
I'm with
Kramer,
you.
what are you doing? I mean, I see the case for Tulane. I
also just think
on the road outdoors feels a little crazy.
I think there's a little cleanup here. College football world. Tulane gets it done. Army's out of
pretenders get shipped away.
As much as I'd love to see Army in the college football playoff.
That would be awesome. Army of one. Let's go.
All right, let's get to that Mountain West championship game. UNLV Boise State. It's being played up on the Smurf turf in Boise, Idaho. 5 p.m. on the West Coast on Friday. Boise State -3.5, -185 on the money line. UNLV +155. 58.5 is the total. Colby, we got to ride with Boise State, right?
All day.
Rebels.
Oh, get out of here.
Rebels. Who has been able to slow down Gene T more than UNLV? Who did he do? He barely did anything against him. 3.9 yards per carry. Longest rush was 16 yards. Rebels are set for revenge. This line opened at 6.5. All the sharps over at Circuit knocked it down to 3.5. I still think there's line value. Give me the UNLV
all the
Rebs.
honks, all the local honks.
No, this is you guys
betting
are
on
crazy.
the home team.
UNLV is going to win, and it's going to create a wild scat for the committee to try and sort this out, because I think UNLV is going to win outright. So I like UNLV here. I get the case for Boise State at home, but they at least cover this 3.5. Don't doubt this Rebels team, Colby.
I will doubt them because they are a dome team going to play up on the Smurf turf. Let alone the
he's
fact
getting his priors in.
Let alone the fact that the Smurf turf, Boise's lost like 10 times there in like 30 years. But also the fact that they haven't played. I'm looking at their toughest weather on the road, and I'm guessing I thought it was going to be Logan, but it was 73 that night. It was 65 in Corvallis. Well, guess what? This is a night game. Calling for 33 degrees in Boise. Have fun with that, UNLV. Haj Malik Williams, their starting quarterback. He said today at a press conference he doesn't even know where Boise is on a map. Well, he's going to find out. All right, he's going to find out on a map when Boise just puts it on him.
You're telling me you don't know geography? That's a guy I want to bet on. He's not busy learning your dumbass maps. He's busy playing ball.
It's true. Maps are for nerds.
Yeah, come on. Well, it's due north
a
of
big
here.
map guy, Sean.
I know. That's why he was personally insulted when he likes anti-map
analog GPS systems. Still, of course I'm on Boise State.
Really? What happened to Colby, Kramer?
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
He ghosted us.
I can't get. I mean, what do you think? Do you think he was maybe abducted?
Probably.
Bigfoot.
Big map came after him.
Not supposed to talk about the maps. Sean, we'll be out in Vegas for this one. This will be a pregame for the live show.
Yeah, because we got and we're gonna have a bunch of college football.
Will we land in time to be able to get down a little more?
I think so. And again, come say hi if you're out in Vegas any Friday night. Our show is 8 to 11, so after 11 o'clock, we're down to hang out, have some cocktails. It's pretty easy to find us. We're walking around. I'm easy to spot. We're rocking an SGP hat. We land at 3:20, Ryan.
Oh, wow.
I think we'll be all right to get in.
Saginaw's this week.
I think we'll be all right to get in a bet for the 5 o'clock UNLV. Right. Now, Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, pushing it a little.
No, yeah, I'll just want to get the local. I want to be going against you here.
All right. Colby's back. Kramer, what's our next game?
Oh, sorry, Colby. Everything okay?
I have no idea what happened there.
Big map.
While I was talking, did you guys hear my points, or because you guys were mute to me?
So you just disappeared. Yeah, it's all right.
No.
I mean, it's perfect when we're muted, Colby.
Well,
all right.
Depending on the
sound
situation.
like my wife, Colby.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Moving over to the MAC championship. Are they playing this in a filthy dome, Colby?
Yeah, this is a waste of a game.
They're playing it in the home of the great Detroit Lions. 9 a.m. on the West Coast. Now we're talking Saturday morning. Ohio taking on Miami of Ohio. -2.5 for Miami of Ohio. -125 on the money line. Ohio +105. 44.5 is the total. How we? I mean, Colby, I don't think we didn't talk about the MAC as much as normal this season. It felt like. So quick update. How is the MAC doing? Why do they play this game in the dome?
MAC doing?
Yeah, I don't know. This is some corporate America bullshit that comes into the MAC.
They all play in the weather. Well, this is the dumbest. This is like the Big Ten playing their championship game in a dome. It doesn't make sense.
No.
And honestly, like it makes me. It has the reverse effect. Your championship game, you're supposed to want to watch it, and this game kind of just like is a blemish on it's like, oh, I guess if it's on, I'll throw it on, but like I'm not going out of my way to watch this. And this is what's crazy is it's a historic rivalry too. It's the Battle of the Bricks. They've been playing for a long fucking time, but this is kind of dumbed down just because it's at Ford Field. I like Ohio and what they've done. Tim Albin, they were supposed to be terrible this year. Everyone, Rourke transferred to Indiana where he's balling out there. Jacoby Jones went to UCF. A slew of their other players bounced around. Their D line, best defensive lineman, went to Colorado, and they still were able to go 9-3. One of the better coaching jobs. Miami, Ohio won the MAC a season ago. Chuck Martin doing a good job there, but Ohio hasn't won the MAC in forever. I think this is a get up spot for these Bobcats. Give me Ohio to win the MAC. I think it's like the first time since the 60s, I think, if memory serves me correct. So give me these Bobcats.
Will we get a court storm, a field storm on the dome in Detroit?
Do you even bother? Can you storm a dome? I'm with Colby. Ohio hasn't won it since 1968 is the last time they won the MAC, Colby. And yeah, I'm with you on Ohio there. I like fading Miami of Ohio. Kind of confusing. But I think
they have a city named Miami in Ohio.
What do we think about Bobcats quarterback? We worried at all, Colby?
Parker Navarro, a UCF transfer. No, I thought he's played well.
Turning it over a little bit would be my concern. I'm with you on Ohio though.
Yeah, I just think the second time there's always an advantage. They lost by I think 10 earlier in the year to Miami, Ohio. The fact it's at Ford Field, I think, helps them a little bit, all things considering. But I think Parker Navarro and Tim Albin, I think they're the more motivated team. Miami, Ohio has been here and done that. So give me these Bobcats to get it done.
All right. I'll do it for the Discord. I don't want them to have to be invested in this game. Give me Miami of Ohio laying the
2.5. Wow, Ryan, so generous.
It's the market play. It's just a number play.
Okay,
short of 3. We all know it's getting there. Another 9 a.m. kick here on the West Coast. We're heading to Arlington, Texas, where Iowa State and Arizona State face off in the Big 12 championship. I'm sure Dr. Pepper's involved, where we get to see unathletic children chest pass footballs, and
they should make
them throw it.
No,
throw it like a fucking American.
Here's the rule: you can only use one hand to throw it. Figure it the fuck out.
Trump's back in the White House. We can't have this shit.
No more chest passing.
I mean, come on. Arizona State, great story. Iowa State, kind of equally a great story. Both of these teams in the playoff, Colby?
No, unfortunately. And you know what's even more hilarious of all this? You had this 4-way tie within the Big 12. From a metric standpoint, BYU is way better than everybody else on the metrics. So the tiebreaker is different than the actual metrics. The metrics are like straight the schedule, who you beat. BYU is ahead of all of them, and they're just not playing the game. Okay, this is what happens when you do these gigantic fucking conferences. But
yeah, we predicted this.
Who could have seen this coming?
Yeah. But I'll tell you, Arizona State did lose Jordan Tyson, a really good their star wideout for the season, in that Dust Bowl Territorial Cup. And I think that is a big piece of their offense. So I think the way Matt Campbell and Iowa State's been playing defense, there's a big edge there when you take away the guy that can really, open up the field for you. I think Iowa State's the play. Rocco Beck at the quarterback spots. And they'd been to the Big 12 championship a couple years ago. I think this is the moment. And Matt Campbell, they're already talking, he's an Ohio guy, played at Mount Union. They're already talking about him to Ohio State. This would be the writing on the wall. I think if he gets this dub with, if Ohio State doesn't win the Natty, maybe they give Matty C a call. So, give me the Cyclones.
Wow. Hard disagree. Have you seen Cam Scadaboo, Colby?
I
saw
love
that guy
Cam
in
Scadaboo.
person. That's
another
heart
FCS
of a champion.
guy. Another
Heart
FCS
of
guy.
a champion. That's a guy who's running for his life, his college education, the NIL, the forks up culture. I regretted fading Arizona State the one time I didn't pick them last week. And I suffered for it. I'm not suffering again. Give me this Arizona State team to just knock the piss out of Iowa State. This is a physical team. Sam Leavitt is throwing lasers all over the field, and it's Cam Scadaboo. In a close game, you need a physical running back like Scadaboo. Smash it.
Isn't it great that you guys didn't, not questionable. You're under review if you're football guys. You guys didn't want to do the FCS playoffs, but if you look at the Heisman race, it's like Travis Hunter FCS, Shador Sanders FCS, Cam Ward FCS, Cam Scadaboo FCS. That's okay.
You're talking to a guy who also gave out Travis Hunter FCS Heisman. I was also high on Cam Ward a number of times, and Cam Ward lost to Syracuse. So how good can the FCS be, Colby? Your logic worked against you there.
I mean, Scadaboo was on the Sacramento State team that we followed when the FCS played in the spring. So
Gary in the chat he's perplexed. Colby's picking Iowa State.
Well, on this show.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned.
I am.
This is a good promo for your other shows. You'll never know who Colby picks.
No, I think his logic, he's probably a Cyclone fan for all I know, but I had faded them a lot of the year. Just because he traditionally plays so many close games. Once he became a favorite, I was like, it's gonna, cost me at some point. Now I ate shit most of the year fading Iowa State, but it did come to when Texas Tech got him, and then who got him the next week? Someone got him the next week, Kansas. But I think they're the more complete football team, especially with Tyson out for Arizona State.
I gotta say, just thinking about Forks,
they don't need no stupid quarterback. They're gonna be running wild scat all up and down that stadium.
Thinking about all the altercations last week over flag planting, and in the case of Arizona State, fork planting. Can we quickly just have a brief discussion? So after playing like 3 hours, 60 game minutes of gladiator football, we're going to run over to our cheerleaders, get one of their props, run back on the field and try to make a statement. And then the other team's going to try to go steal that cheerleader prop.
I like it. Ryan,
it's fantastic.
What are we talking about?
Ryan,
seeing the Arizona and Arizona State players fight over a fucking.
What did Norvell do? Norvell threw it like a fucking javelin. You know what I mean?
What are we talking about?
I like it. Was it a prop flag when we raised it over Iwo Jima, Ryan? Flags mean something.
No, it wasn't. But it wasn't also carried there by cheerleaders.
I don't know who was on Normandy. I wasn't there.
It wasn't carried by big bicep, large quad men who can do gymnastics.
They might have stormed the beaches. I wasn't there.
College football really is amazing, Colby. Give me Arizona State laying the 2.5. SEC championship down in Hotlanta. It's on a Saturday, Sean, which means Chick-fil-A will be open 1 p.m. on the West Coast. There was just a little controversy about the chicken.
What's up with Chick-fil-A chicken?
I would say my best advice to you if you love Chick-fil-A is don't Google Chick-fil-A chicken controversy.
Okay.
Georgia.
Done.
Yeah. Don't, you don't want to, if you like Chick-fil-A, just stay away from that one. It won't change your mind. Georgia, Texas. Oh man. How Colby predicted this one. I think in some ways he like on one end he was like Texas is going to suck for 40 years. On the other end he's like pretty funny if Texas makes the championship. Texas, Georgia, Texas laying 2.5 minus 135 on the money line. Georgia plus 115, 48.5 is the total. Man, yeah, Texas,
felt like they lost.
Texas
to Georgia
coming
Tech.
from the Big 12 and winning the SEC, and the SEC
Such
having a down
narrative.
year. Like fuck you.
Well, I think you can say this for every conference when you look at it. Shout out to Joey McGuire, Texas Tech's coach, that was in his post game saying, "Look, we're looking at these labels SEC and Big 10.
Yeah,
but let me get this straight: the Pac-12 champ Oregon goes into the Big 10 and goes undefeated, right? The AAC has SMU go into the ACC, goes undefeated, right? They're playing for the championship. Texas with the Big 12, oh, you're not going to be nothing in the SEC. They come in, they're playing for the championship. Arizona State comes into the Big 12 and is playing for the championship. This is just hilarious. And I thought he made a great point by saying, like, we need to not look at the patch on the jersey because clearly it doesn't matter. You know, like winning is winning wherever you go. We just saw, the musical chairs happen, and it didn't benefit the conferences that we thought were going to be, the
Who
powers.
could have seen it coming, Sean? Now that everyone can just load up and spend money furiously on teams.
No, I mean it is crazy.
Indiana has a football.
To Colby's point, how many of these conference championships have newcomers in the conference playing for the championship?
So great, but you have to take. I mean, if there's one thing, one key takeaway.
Army's another one.
Yeah. Georgia's not that good this year.
Yeah, I guess my concern is that like Georgia
they just
Tech,
played an 8 overtime game.
That's true. That's got to wear on you a little
what?
bit.
I know that you basically are
It's
just
like 8 plays,
flipping coins at the by the time you get to the third one.
I want to push back though some like kudos to Texas beating A&M. A&M with their quarterback, when she threw that interception in the red zone, they had their opportunities. But did you watch that game and come away impressed with Texas? Because I didn't.
No, but also I could say that for a lot of their.
Who are you
season,
impressed
right?
with though? I think that's the key thing is.
Well, I'm impressed with the way Texas got beat down by Georgia in Austin, and this game's in Atlanta. Yeah. So it's gonna be a Georgia crowd.
But that's why I like. I mean, basically Texas. I mean, Texas has had a season where they've had mostly success, with the exception of that Georgia game, and it's revenge. It's like it just seems very very obvious here to take Texas, in my opinion.
But to Colby's point, like they beat Arkansas by 10 points, not super impressive. They beat Kentucky, not super impressive. They beat Texas A&M, not super impressive. And they got their ass kicked by Georgia. If you remember, that was where they were throwing all the trash out on the field.
Yeah, they
will they bring the trash to the Georgia Dome?
But I mean, you act like at least they're winning these games. I mean, Georgia got housed by Lane Kiffin. Like I don't know. It just seems like I agree that Texas is not that good, but no one's that good in the SEC.
Colby, you taking Georgia? I mean, maybe it was just a blip, that Georgia Tech game, and then they kind of bounced back from it. No, and Texas is asleep at the wheel.
I don't think Georgia is that good, but I still think they're better than Texas, and I think they can do enough. Texas, to me, like we saw it. Part of the handicap I think I had for taking A&M was correct with Quinn Ewers making mistakes. The problem was Marcel Reed. They threw the ball too much with him, and they weren't very creative with their run packages where I thought they would be, and that's why I think Georgia. After that scare, I think Georgia is the right side here. I think they can do things to make Quinn Ewers make turnovers. They'll have the crowd. And I also think in a big game, the SEC championship, I think that favors just Georgia. They've been in this spot a lot of times, and last year they went there and lost. And
playing
I think
the
this
SEC conference championship game in the Georgia Dome is a unique experience that Georgia's prepared for. Colby's making a lot of good points.
I do not.
I'm gonna take Georgia.
Do not.
And Kirby Smart over Steve Sarkisian is my last. If there is a big play, if there is a big moment, I'm taking Kirby Smart over Sark. He undressed him. Steve Sarkisian's probably started hitting the bottle after that last loss.
It's a tale of two halves.
Probably suing Kirby Smart.
There was a bit of a little playoff Trevor Lawrence in that Georgia Texas game, first half, second half. But yeah, no, I don't know if Georgia's going to have the crowd, Colby. That maybe this will be the controversial.
Dude, have you been to Atlanta? They're all Georgia fans.
I've been to Atlanta. Texas has a solid amount of people that follow the program. I wouldn't be so sure this is going to clearly be a Georgia.
Shout out to Matt in the chat checking in. Let's fucking go. I love you guys. Love you, Matt. Appreciate you checking in. Bring your trash cans. Gary's saying
horns up.
So you're taking the horns.
Horns up.
Yeah. You don't lay the 2.5, Ryan. You take the 2.5. You know
that's an NFL thing, Sean.
Oh, okay.
Look at all the beautiful chalk I have in my shopping cart right now.
Do you have one dog?
Not yet. No, okay. We'll get to that.
The night is young.
We'll see if I can get to that later. 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast on Saturday. We're heading to Lafayette, Louisiana. Marshall taking on the Raging Cajuns, who are laying 5.5, -215 on the money line, +184. The herd. 56.5 is the total. What a nice little matchup here in the Fun Belt, Colby.
Yeah, and at the real swamp. All right, this is they hold that grudge against Florida for Spurrier, calling it the swamp when they had called this the swamp for. But
are they allowed to do that? They just stole their name.
Stole their name, man. Just fucking stole it.
I don't know if I like that. I'm gonna stop saying swamp for Gainesville.
There we go. That
feels offensive.
This is
Flying Gators.
This is an intriguing one because so Marshall has Charles Huff as their head coach. They have not extended him for some stupid reason because he won at Notre Dame like 2 years ago and took Marshall to the MAC championship this year. They have not extended him. His contract runs out. There is tons of speculation, including a beat reporter for Southern Miss saying he's going to be their next head coach. I think that players want to play for him, though. I think he's a player's coach. I think that he's not getting the contract is ridiculous. They did this before with Doc Holliday. They have like crazy standards there at Marshall. So I actually think Marshall's the play here. I think you play it on the money line. I think they want coach to go out with the win and then a potential fuck you to the Thundering Herd.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck
in the
on
swamp.
This one.
Let's see what the bet splits are, Sean. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So 40% of the tickets, but only 11% of the bets on Marshall. So very, very contrarian take.
That's because everyone knows he interviewed for Southern Miss.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like there's been a little line movement. So that would explain the 90% of the
Are you with Colby taking Marshall, Kramer?
No. This is we're going to continue to take.
You're going to keep
championship weekend. We're going chalk. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a strong angle on Marshall, Louisiana. I'll trust Colby. I like the inside Iggy on the interview of the coaches, so I'll trust him there. Hey, you know who else I trust? Underdog Fantasy. Love Underdog Fantasy. Pick 'em. Got multiple entries cooking up right now. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Available in a ton of states, including the great state of Canada. Love you guys.
Oh, Canada, we love our beaver.
Colby, are there? I didn't even check. I should have done
yes,
that.
There is.
We already saw.
Colby's on top of it. Oh my goodness.
Appreciate that, Colby. What do we got for some conference championship plays over on Underdog?
Well, Haj Malik Williams, and I'm a fan of him, but I think he definitely already called out boys. He didn't know where it is. It's a nowhere town. I'll take the lower. I'll take the lower on 249.5 passing yards and about 30 degrees. They're going to need to run the ball to stay in that game. What's that?
I'm going to take the higher.
Really?
Rebels roll.
Really?
And they're going to bring the slot machine. Look out.
You can't ask the guest a question.
No, I'm asking his take, but I'm pro UNLV.
Another one is Kanye Uday or Udo for Army.
Any
their
relation?
running back.
He's of the
higher
Kanye
than
clan.
41.5 rushing yards.
Now this is a pick you can set your watch to. I'm on board. So Kanye Udo higher 41.5 rushing yards, and Hajij Malik Williams higher 249.5. But Colby likes slower, but play
For
higher.
those wondering, Scadaboo's combo yards number is 162.5.
Dog.
Yes.
He's going to get that. And speaking of dogs, underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN.
All right, let's head over to the ACC where, in spite of joining the conference like little bitches saying, we don't need any of the money, we'll do whatever you want. The new Illuminati leaders and raisers of $130 million have bought their way into the ACC championship game, which is still being played in Charlotte, North Carolina for some dumb reason. It is being played outdoors.
No, thank you. I'm glad this one is being played here. Hold on. Let's talk about this for a second before we even get into this game. Florida State
talk about it. Yes.
Sued the ACC and put pressure on them and changed their
So
financial
funny.
setup. This is so great because they're like, hey, please make it performance based. And the ACC said, okay, the teams that do better will make more money. And then guess who
That's
finished?
so good.
Guess who finished dead last out of 17 fucking teams?
Oh, so good.
It's so great. It's so great. It's so great. Florida
wow.
State, 17th place in the ACC.
You can't make, you couldn't, I mean, what were the odds for Florida State to finish in last place in the ACC?
Oh my God. It was
With
probably off the board.
TJU.
Yeah.
I mean, is he even startable at the Division I level anymore? Does he have more years? My God.
Even
that
better.
was one of my best college football takes. This guy sucks. What are we talking about?
I mean, that money line
That
to
was
start the
pretty easy.
year. Let's go. SMU -2.5, -130 on the money line. Clemson +115. 55.5 is the total.
Our King wants to know, Colby, before you give your handicap here, does SMU get in with a loss?
That goes back to what we said beginning. I don't have Miami in because I have SMU in, and I have them losing because this is a Clemson home game. Clemson is going to have that crowd. Even if SMU wanted to with their rich money, their enrollments is small as hell. It's just not gonna, the numbers don't add up. This is a Clemson home game. Clemson knows that they have to win to get in. SMU can lose and still get in. I know a lot of people that's a topic that some are disputing. I would be shocked if they set the precedent, they would do like the committee would do exactly what they did a year ago, which is one of the reasons why you wanted to expand. It was a very bad look for them. SMU went undefeated in their Power 5 conference. If you put, this would be their second loss in an extra game. If you put Alabama in with 3 losses and only playing 12 games, this would be like, to me, it would be exactly what happened to last year, and it would be chaos again. And also George Bush made a phone call for them to get into the ACC. Florida State didn't have the fucking the former president of the United States making a phone call for them. So I believe SMU actually has a little bit more power in that regard. So I think SMU will get in with the loss, providing it's not like a 51-0 loss. Then it would get a little tricky. But I actually think it's a close game. I just think Clemson with that crowd is all the difference.
I wonder if you could parlay. I bet they won't allow you, but parlay SMU to make the playoffs, yes, with Clemson +2.5. I wonder if they would let you do something like that. I don't know. That's interesting, but I'm with you, Colby.
When
like the home field is going to matter here. It's in Charlotte. This is. Are you going to go to this game, Colby?
I was thinking about this. This one, the only problem is this is on exactly at the same time as the Penn State Oregon game. Yeah. But I am still considering
dome football, so you gotta watch that game.
No, I can guarantee you this.
Domes.
I can guarantee you this. I wouldn't be at Penn State, Oregon. They could give me free tickets and I wouldn't go. So
you will watch it. Great product for TV.
SMU to make the college football playoff is -220.
Okay. So probably not even worth messing around with the a parlay there. I'm with you, Colby. I'm on Clemson. Kramer Clemson does have a plus in front of its number. Are you taking them?
No,
and
yeah,
you hate Clemson.
But I think Colby makes a lot of good points. I think SMU in my mind is in, regardless of what happens here. I mean, to your point, maybe there's a blowout situation, but I really think you get into messy situation if you're judging championship games. It gets really sneaky because you're comparing them against teams that weren't good enough to make their conference championship, and so
and they went undefeated. Bama has 2 losses to a 6-6 team. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I'm completely with you. I think SMU, with a loss to Clemson, almost regardless of the type of loss, like to me, you have to put them in the playoff. You have to have 2 ACC teams in the playoff, unfortunately.
And something to note is with Clemson losing last week, I think there's a decent shot if Clemson wins, they don't get the auto bid. If Boise wins, I think Boise could steal their spot, and the Big 12 gets the bye week too. The Big 12 champ, and Clemson's playing in the play-in game somewhere.
I mean, I have a feeling they won't do that. Like they'll find a way to finagle that so that it goes to the power conference school. But that, to me, that would be great. I just want to see a game on the Smurf turf. So whatever that takes. But man, if they were to get one of the top 4 seeds, though, they would get the bye, and we would be robbed that Smurf turf.
Yeah. Until 2 years when they change the format.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you this: does it make more sense to lose? Because hear me out for a second. If you're Penn State, if you're whoever, like in the field right now, does it make more sense to lose and play a home game, and all your NIL money comes from local businesses a lot of times and alums? They get that home game. You're making a shit ton of money. And then you go play the playoffs. In the NIL era, you could add millions to your roster by playing a home game.
The problem is especially this year. I mean, certainly some teams have a weather edge or whatever, but everyone's so close this year. You don't want to risk. I mean, maybe it's worth it, but to me, there's no way you'd want to play that extra game against a team that 100%
knock you off.
We're not going to have big point spreads in the playoff. I don't think, right?
I don't maybe know. Boise, if they're at Georgia or something, even though they won the last time. There could be
a couple double digits, but in those first rounds, you can't mess around with an extra game.
But there's also that thing, and you see it in the NFL all the time, where the wild card gets hot, and
rest versus rust. But these football brains, they don't operate like that. No one would ever. No. Even if there was something to it, they would never look to play an extra game. And it is a long season. These kids are banged up. The bye will ultimately, long term, the bye will help you.
But seriously,
it's an interesting discussion.
You have to fix your transfer portal rules so you don't. They
have no interest in doing that, right?
But they're only gonna hurt the teams that make.
It's hard for them to do without them being employees. So without them being employees, the semester doesn't end until when it ends. So if they're students, you can't really get around that. If they're employees, if you make them employees, that's your path to getting around that.
I mean, think about this, Sean. We're gonna have transfers happening on teams in the playoff.
Backup corner at Georgia started 8 games this year. He's already in the portal.
I mean,
yeah.
So is he not playing in the playoff?
I think he's playing it out though. I think he's just saying I'm in the portal, but I'm playing it out. Yeah.
I mean, it's a wild ass time. Anyway, Clemson take the points. I'd probably look at the money line too, Sean.
Oh wow. Yeah. You're not afraid to put your money where your mouth is.
Thank you for noticing the risk taking. I was not able to see if they are offering a Clemson to make the playoff price, but obviously if you can find a price better than +115, certainly interesting there.
Oh yeah. Always shop both of a scenario bets. Always look at both sides.
Well, sometimes they slip up. All right, let's head over to the Big Ten championship. Going to be playing in Indy. In the dome. Yeah. This makes no sense. 5 p.m. on the West Coast. Penn State, Oregon. Wait, Ohio State isn't even playing in the Big Ten.
No, they're ducking the Penn State. They didn't want to see James Franklin, Drew Aller one more time.
Is Ohio State definitely in the playoff, and now they're going to get a home game?
Probably. I would put. I mean, remember when they lost before and they dropped one spot from 1 to 2?
Play the X-Files music.
Well, at least they were playing in Oregon, but yes.
So Ohio State.
Anyone else, Sean? Almost every other school, they dropped like 5 spots, 10 spots.
No,
Just one spot.
I'm with you, but it was like a 1 point, 2 point loss in Oregon.
Fair.
So they dodge getting their ass beat by Oregon again. They still get to be in the playoff and they get a home game. Is Ohio State really being punished for something here? Or is this some sort of benefit? It's like a bye week. They don't have to play this week. Yeah, I mean,
that's the other thing is that you sneakily get a bye if you don't get to your college football conference championship. There's still some stuff to be sorted out.
But like BYU didn't get in. They had the same record as it goes both ways.
Yeah, you're right. You can't look for it, but in some ways, Ohio State is rewarded, right? By not because they're getting a bye week. They're going to be in the college football playoff, and now Oregon and Penn State have to do battle against each other. Which, I mean, what is this game actually going to mean?
The number one seed, seed is on the line. So if Penn State wins this game, hypothetically, you get the top seed, and then you're going to get the worst of the second round, the worst seeded team.
You want some 1 seed odds, Sean? Oregon -170, Penn State +310, Texas +310.
So wait, if Penn State is +155 to win this game, if they knock off Oregon, aren't they the number 1 seed? I guess obviously Texas is a shot.
If Texas wins, like they might give it to Texas, but Texas, honestly, I don't think they're going to win. So I think Penn State actually is the more intriguing angle here for the 1 seed. And you just beat the number 1 team. Wouldn't you go? Wouldn't you hop? Georgia's further back. Wouldn't you by beating the number 1 team? Wouldn't that propel you to number 1? I would think so. I like Penn State though. A little nervous that Kotelnicki, their OC, is going to interview for the West Virginia job. But other than that, I just think it's in Indy. Oregon is already in. I know that they're trying to lock up the 1 seed, but Oregon hasn't. If you look at Oregon's schedule, part of the reason why I have a future on them to win the Natty was their road spots.
Flex.
Their road spots are trash, right? Like they're in Corvallis the first couple of weeks, but Oregon State, like their whole new team, transfer wise, their whole team left, coaching wise, transfer wise. UCLA, they don't have fans besides Bowser, and Purdue, they're the worst. Yeah, they're the worst fucking team, and they already fired their coach. They're the worst Power 5. And then Michigan, who can't score, right? And then Wisconsin, who's 5-7, right? So they haven't really played good talent away from Autzen. I guess you could say the Michigan one, but and that's why I think Penn State and Michigan's offense is so limited. Penn State can actually strike fear in that defense the same way Boise was able to. Ashton Jeanty had a huge day. Penn State's got 2 really good running backs that I think can expose that defense some. So I give me the Nittany Lions. I think they win it outright.
Colby saw my positive good points about Penn State. This is Oregon doesn't need this. Penn State, I think, senses an opportunity to snatch the 1 seed. They're playing in a dome. I think the
dome helps who?
I think it helps
Oregon.
Penn State a little bit.
Get off for those Oregon defensive line.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I mean, you want to talk about travel? That is not a far drive from State College.
They better park that big ass duck outside, like Big Ten Media Days. They had that big ass duck, like it was fucking Batman the movie. Remember when Jack Nicholson? What was that? He poisoned all New York, all of Gotham, in some type of. You know what I'm talking about?
Books?
Oh, you don't remember Big Ten Media Days? Big Ten Media Days. They had that big ass duck.
Yes, yeah. I remember the duck.
They should bring that back. Let's go.
So,
but wait, you're on Penn State. You don't want the duck.
I know, but no, I just like it for the aesthetics of the sport.
Quack.
No, remember last time we did that?
Sean, put me on the Ducks. What are we talking about? Real quick, imagine the Ohio State and Michigan fans. I mean, just like Penn State can potentially win a Big Ten championship with not having to deal with either one of those teams. I mean, talk about the realignment really paying off for Penn State. Just unreal situation. But yeah, you got to lay the. Oregon has been impressive to me. Oregon is the 1 seed. It would make sense to me if Oregon is the number 1 seed in the first 12 team college football playoff. All right, we're down to one more game, and I've taken only one dog, Sean.
Well, you got a great chance here. Got a bonus FCS spot.
All right, let's. So the FCS playoffs are happening. I assume Colby is putting on an episode on the college football experience, maybe the FCS college football experience, where they cover all the FCS games. I do appreciate a 24-team playoff. I'm with Colby. I think it's probably a perfect number for us to settle into for the FBS as well. And for some reason, we've left on the slate here Lehigh having to travel across the country, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. You don't even have your jersey on, Sean. Traveling across
CJ McCollum jersey.
Traveling across the country to Moscow, Idaho. Which, by the way, you can get a great burger or made from cow or chickpea. The Vandals of Idaho laying 11.5 here. What was this only to give Sean false hope, Colby?
Now Sean had recklessly DM'd me about I hadn't tweeted pro Lehigh.
Oh, I didn't DM you. I put it on air. I said, what is this college experience glazing all these other FCS teams? And meanwhile, no mention of Lehigh's historic upset of the Richmond Spiders. This football team is heart. They drag the goalposts from the South Mountain down to the Lehigh River.
4.3 miles,
walk,
right? Yeah,
both ways. And that Lehigh River, that's where things get lit. That's where you go smoke weed. That's where you put your secret beer cooler. I'm sure that goalpost had a great time. They were considering pressing charges. Meanwhile, they got a police escort to take the goalpost, throw it in the damn river. I mean, this team responds to adversity. They were playing incredible red zone defense. They're going to go into Idaho. The Vandals are looking past this. You know, they think they're seasoned at FCS team. They know a lot about the college football playoff. Lehigh hasn't been in the playoffs since 2017.
You know, how hard
don't let the Mountain Hawks get hot. They're going to win outright. Let's go, Lehigh.
You know how hard it is to get to Moscow, Idaho.
Yeah, I went there once.
They're going to be tired.
They're not staying at Airbnb.
And just for the record, this Lehigh glazing that's going on right now, again, earlier in the pre-production meeting, quote, we can lose all this FCS stuff.
Yeah. And I said one noted exception, Lehigh. People care about this game.
Come on, Colby. I assume we're laying the points with the Vandals. Great program out there in Moscow, Idaho.
It's been a fun story for Lehigh with Luke Yoder at the running back spot. He's balling out,
what?
but yeah, Luke Yoder. Like all right. That ain't gonna fly against Jason X squad. The Vandals are legit. They almost beat Oregon. It was like a 3-point game in the fourth quarter against Oregon. This is where the rubber meets the road. And I got the filthy Vandals at that Kibbe Dome, that filthy Kibbe Dome, getting it done against your Mountain Hawks.
Luke Yoder win this game. They will, Colby.
Oh, wow.
Lehigh, Mountain Hawks on the money line. Whoa. I stole Ryan's nerdy stuff.
What do you mean?
You're laying 11 with Idaho, Colby. Wow.
Lay it, buddy.
Sad. I thought you liked football.
What? So is Idaho's the 8th seed? Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, I believe so.
So this is round 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this is excellent. I mean, I'm looking at the slate. Why aren't we picking all these games, Colby? This looks like
I tried to do it, but
it's okay.
It's okay.
South Dakota State, Mercer, Rhode Island. What are we doing, Sean? What's Colby not bringing these games to us for?
When Action Network surpasses us, surpasses us, go back to look at this. Right?
Oh wow! Well, they did just fire a lot of people.
Massive,
that's very insensitive of you. Jesus Christ, Colby. Yeah, Idaho. Come on. I have a cousin who attended the great university there as well. So
huge if true. All right. Time for our lock, dog, and tease brought to you by Rhythm. Of course, go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get your college football projections, your college basketball projections, NFL props, NFL picks. You can easily build your own models in seconds, literally seconds. And next thing you know, you got a working NBA, NFL model that you can customize. You can use the sliders, very easy to set up. And if you're like, I can't even handle a slider, you can just let Rhythm build your own models for you. Use their picks and start cashing in big time. Rhythm's had a great college football season. Looking to end on a high note. Kramer, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get you your 7-day free trial. Kramer, what are you doing here?
Sure, real quick, Colby. The chat is wondering where are the FCS numbers live, or is that from deep inside the belly of the beast?
They're deep inside the belly of the beast, but we have them coming soon. But those numbers are always legit, and then they move crazy once they're released.
But you are confident that will be the opener.
I mean, I
all right, chat.
I have the information.
Ask any more
yes.
questions. Yeah,
yes.
Don't ask any more questions. That will be the opener. So just be ready to fire. All right, lock number 1, Boise State laying 3.5.
Oh, that's a bad lock.
What do you mean?
Keep going.
Lock number 2, Oregon laying 3.5. Dog Clemson. What do you mean? What's so
it's just funny because it's your only dog.
I mean, all these spreads are pretty small. It's a great weekend of closely contested games. Tease.
Clemson is great in a tease, Ryan. Just pointing that out.
Not when it's my dog. We're gonna whip around Arizona State to +3.5.
Wow.
We're gonna whip around Texas to +3.5. And we're gonna take. I'm hesitant to put.
What was that noise?
I was because I'm Rich Rod walk off game +2.
Wow, this is you're the one who's drunk right now, right?
What do you mean? It's college. You're supposed to do the unthinkable with teases.
For my lock, give me Arizona State. Love their program. Great time over there.
Hopefully they repair the prop trident for the game. The one with magical powers.
Other lock, give me Georgia +2.5 for my dog on the money line. Give me Lehigh football. Moving on. One more week. The dream continues. For my tees,
I'll book that.
Penn State +9.5. Clemson +8.5. And
fucking guys doing Stanford Wong teasers in college. Square.
Let's see. So Clemson, Penn State, and Georgia +8.5.
Most lopsided bet championship game this weekend is. You had to guess, Sean? Might surprise
Boise
you,
State, UNLV.
No. Number close. Let's see. Third place is actually SMU, 72%. Arizona State, 79%, and Oregon, 90% of the action.
Well, you're in good company with those Joe Q Publix, Ryan. Tell them I said hi.
Sometimes the public is sharp.
Colby, what do you got?
Lock up Boise State. Lock up Penn State. Money line play for the Army Black Knights, and the teases Penn State +9.5, Iowa State +8.5, and Georgia +8.5.
It's a solid tease. Are we doing any sort of parlay?
I mean, what's the most chaotic thing that could happen?
Penn State Lehigh money line parlay would be pretty fun.
There you go. That sounds like a great Sean parlay.
Thank you. Get
Georgia, Clemson, Penn State.
All right, I'm in on that one as well. So that'll be a Sean and Colby one. Georgia, Penn State, Clemson, all on the money line.
So I am gonna. Here's what I would suggest. You can get Oregon to be the 1 seed at -170.
Okay,
it's cheaper than the money line.
Is that a parlay for you?
Just give me Oregon -170, 1 seed.
Okay, there you go. Kramer,
I got a jet. I got a jet, guys. I got a jet, but yeah.
Well, Colby,
Colby's big time in
the Sports Gambling Podcast.
check out the college experience wherever you can find Colby. And hey, mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
I think the better way to say it is if you can find Colby
Kramer. Let it ride.